Anzu exits the convenience store where she works and sees Tsukasa and Junta with Tsuchiya. Tsukasa and Junta arrive to pick up Anzu, while Tsuchiya waits for Kagane. Tsukasa and Junta are greeted by Kagane as they exit the store. While walking home with the two boys, Anzu takes into account how she can stop Riri's plan now that she has grown accustomed to living with him. Saki is waiting for Anzu at their front door. Saki wishes to spend the night at Anzu's house. Anzu is forced to explain everything to Saki. Saki is surprised to learn this and apologizes for showing up unannounced. Saki was evicted from their home by her brother. They discuss how Saki has the appearance of a heroine but is very daring. Anzu illustrates one of their memories. Anzu gets an upset stomach as she prepares to tell Saki the truth about Riri. Saki expresses surprise that the three of them are living together and expresses gratitude that it is Junta and Tsukasa. She also tells Tsukasa that they are both prone to getting into trouble. Riri appears as soon as Anzu enters the bathroom and tells her that she cannot tell others about her or the truth. She will always have an upset stomach if she does this. Saki is concerned for Anzu. Saki begins to tell Anzu about her plans for the two of them this summer break, but Anzu falls asleep just as Saki begins. Saki recalls the beginning of her friendship with Anzu. Saki is popular with boys at school due to her attractive features, but she just wants to be a regular girl student. Anzu defended herself against the soccer club's assistant who was bullying Saki out of jealousy. They've been friends since that day. Saki's concerns were taken seriously by Anzu. Saki is always bothered when people compliment her on her large chest and her beauty. Girls are envious of her. Anzu assisted her in selecting clothing that would hide it. Mori, a senior and student committee officer, asks Saki out one day. He has a good reputation among his peers. He promises not to hold Saki until she is ready. Saki is assured by Anzu that she will be supported in whatever decision she makes. Mori is given a chance by Saki. They walk to school and went on a few dates together. Mori did keep his word. Saki is unsure whether it is love. Mori invites Saki to his home to study with him. Saki is skeptical, but Mori is persistent, and Saki eventually agrees. Mori suddenly becomes physical with Saki while studying, forcing himself on her, resulting in Saki hitting him with a book and fleeing. Saki has realized that it is fear, not love, that drives her. Anzu greets Saki at school and begins a cheerful conversation. As they enter the room, Saki's friend confronts her about Saki's violent behavior with Mori. Mori breaks up with her, so she forces her way into Mori's house and tries to reconcile with him, but he rejects her, so she strikes him in the face. Saki is also dating several other men in addition to Mori. Anzu claims that everything is a lie, and Saki would never do something like that. She also tells the girl that she knows Saki, and that she shouldn't believe everything she says. Anzu enters the senior room and confronts Mori about spreading lies as a result of Saki's rejection. Mori tries to keep lying and telling Anzu that everything is true, but Anzu warns him not to underestimate them, which scares Mori. Even though the class has already begun, Anzu joins a crying Saki at the stairs. Saki thanks Anzu and says she will remain friends with her until they die. Saki expresses gratitude to the sleeping Anzu. Riri invites them to the festival the next day while they are eating breakfast. Anzu and Tsukasa decline, but Junta insists on going, so Anzu has no choice but to go. Tsukasa refuses to go, but Anzu forces him to because Junta may confess again if they are alone. Junta wishes to dress in their traditional yukata. Anzu is compelled to wear it despite her objections. The festival day arrives. Junta is left behind and unable to pass through the crowd, so Anzu comes to get him. Ryuya becomes upset when he notices Anzu holding Junta's hand, but Anzu explains what happened to them. Ryuya drags Junta for a talk as soon as he sees Tsukasa. Ryuya asks who Tsukasa is and tells him not to let another handsome man take Anzu away. Junta and Anzu bid Ryuya and his friends farewell. While walking away, Ryuya's friends tease him that he has no chance with Anzu. Tsukasa is nervous while walking because he is in a crowded place with so many girls, but he tries to overcome his fear. They decide to go get some food and then meet up when the fireworks show begins. Saki locates the line where Makoto is. Saki greets him, and Makoto informs him that he is now his sister's errand boy. Mori appears behind Saki in the same line as they are talking and begins to insult Saki. Makoto notices Saki's discomfort and humiliation and drags her away by the wrist. Saki expresses gratitude to Makoto. Tsukasa and Anzu are waiting for the return of the others. Tsukasa is overjoyed that Anzu is wearing the bracelet he gave her. He is also pleased to see Anzu enjoying herself while watching the fireworks. Anzu wishes to photograph the two of them for Arisa, but when she presses the capture button, everyone appears behind them, including Tsuchiya and Kagane. Kagane defends his presence there. Everyone is taking pictures and having a good time. Riri causes Anzu to collapse in front of Junta and Tsukasa, but Anzu becomes enraged when she realizes her cotton candy has fallen. Kagane gives Tsuchiya food that touches Tsuchiya. Anzu believes that, although Riri's plans are inconvenient, she hopes to return with them next year. The girl looking at her laptop notices a picture of Tsukasa in the background. She smiles sinisterly as she declares that she has already found Tsukasa. On episode 11, Anzu scolds Kagane for taking her on a date in an arcade. Anzu tells him that he does not consider her a love interest, but Kagane only demonstrates his narcissistic side. A girl watches them from a distance as they take a picture with Tsuchiya. Anzu does have a good time despite her dislike of going on a date with Kagane. On her way home, she is stopped by a woman named Yukana Kishi. Yukana Kishi informs her that she is aware Tsukasa is staying with Anzu and that they have been dating for some time. Tsuchiya tells Kagane in the car that someone has been following them all day and that he is concerned about them leaving Anzu alone in the train station. Kagane texted her to see how she was doing. As Anzu and Yukana Kishi walk towards Anzu's house, Anzu is skeptical that Yukana is Tsukasa's girlfriend. Yukana speaks negatively about Tsukasa's family and claims to have discovered Tsukasa through an online posting. Anzu stops walking because she senses something is wrong. Tsukasa leaves the house with a plastic bag just in time. When he sees Yukana and Anzu, he drops the plastic bag. Yukana sees Tsukasa and rushes over to hug him, but Anzu notices how uncomfortable Yukana is and rushes over to stop her. Anzu assists Tsukasa in returning to the house, leaving Yukana outside. Tsukasa gets help from the kitchen sink and continues to sweat. Anzu looks out the window and sees Yukana walk away. Tsukasa inquires of Anzu what Yukana told her and whether she believed her. Anzu tells him the details and expresses her disbelief. Tsukasa pukes on the sink as a result of his emotions. Tsukasa tells Anzu that Yukana is his stalker, which surprises Anzu. Tsukasa relaxes a little and grabs Anzu's hand to keep her from getting a drink and staying with him. Anzu apologizes for bringing Yukana, and Tsukasa is relieved that Anzu recognizes right away that he does not approve of Yukana. Tsukasa begins explaining to Anzu why he lives alone while holding her hand. It all began with a bag. Tsukasa assisted Yukana in picking up her bag after she stumbled on the ground. Yukana began to wait for Tsukasa and greet him every day after that. Then he got a gift, a long-sleeve polo shirt he assumed was from his mother or sister. However, as he walks down the street with his friends, Yukana passes by and compliments him on his new shirt. He then realizes it's from Yukana. Packages begin to pile up in Tsukasa's house, creeping them out. Someone created accounts on multiple websites using Tsukasa's mother's name. Arisa wishes to report it to the police, but their father objects and accuses Tsukasa of using his mother's credit card. Arisa defends him, but their father becomes even angrier. Their mother warns them not to touch it, because it will be returned. Tsukasa is waiting for the go signal in the pedestrian lane when Yukana approaches him and asks if he doesn't want her gifts. Tsukasa tells her she needs to stop what she's doing, but Yukana continues to wait for him, and even visits his school. Yukana sneaks into Tsukasa's room one afternoon while he is studying, and puts sleeping pills in his drink. She used Tsukasa's account to make negative comments about his classmates and schoolmates. She also posted about them dating, which made Tsukasa's classmates dislike him. Tsukasa's father slaps him, and blames him for what happened, blaming him for being a people pleaser. Yukana appears to harass Tsukasa again as he walks to school, but Arisa intervenes. Tsukasa was unable to return to school, and regrets assisting Yukana that day. His mother, Arisa, and his homeroom teacher all assisted him in getting through it. Tsukasa began to live normally after leaving his hometown, and living alone. But every time he attracts attention, he panics. As a result, he defends himself by pushing others away. Tsukasa is even more hurt, because his father did not defend him or stand by his side. Anzu unexpectedly hugs him, and tells him she wishes they had met sooner so she could be the one to believe him. She is enraged by what happened to Tsukasa. Arisa arrives, and has already reported the incident to the police. She warns them that they must remain vigilant from now on. Tsukasa regards himself as weak and pitiful. Arisa spends the night with Anzu. Yukana's mother is chastising her. She holds Tsukasa responsible for Yukana's demise. Yukana becomes enraged when her mother disparages Tsukasa. Yukana is muttering illusory thoughts about herself and Tsukasa. Because of her obsession, she wants Anzu to disappear so she can be alone with Tsukasa. Kagane notices Anzu's sadness in the store and tells her she can talk to him. Anzu had forgotten her phone at the store. Kagane instructs Tsuchiya to chase Anzu and return the item, but Saki and her brother appear unexpectedly because Anzu sent them a message. When Anzu realizes her phone is missing, she decides to return to get it, but two men stop her and tell her that someone told them Anzu shouldn't see the light of day again. They are about to hurt Anzu when Junta and Ryuya arrive and stop them. Tsuchiya, Saki, and her brother came next. One of the goons informed them that they had no choice because they had been threatened. Anzu realizes Yukana is to blame. Anzu expresses gratitude to them for rescuing her. Saki informs her that she sent them a message instructing them to come to her, which perplexes Anzu because she did not do so. Tsukasa wants to leave when she gets home, because he endangered Anzu's life, but Anzu stops him and tells him they will go through it together. Riri appears in her bedroom to cheer her up and admits that she was the one who sent the message to everyone. Anzu is enraged by Riri's manipulation once more, but she expresses gratitude for saving her life. Anzu approaches Riri and asks if she can use her magic to stop Yukana. However, Riri can only use her magic for romantic purposes, and if Anzu is put in danger as a result, Riri will remove Tsukasa as Anzu's love interest. Anzu becomes enraged and throws Riri's wand out the window, ending up in poop once more. She tells Riri to leave, because talking to a heartless being like Riri is pointless. When Junta gets out of bed, Tsukasa is in the dining room. Tsukasa expresses regret for what happened to Anzu. Junta tells him to tell Anzu that Anzu is lucky not to be hurt. He also states that he will not allow it to happen again, no matter what the consequences are. He informs Tsukasa that it is his decision, and has nothing to do with him. He admits that Anzu is the reason he plays football, because Anzu once told someone that she likes sporty guys. Anzu previously told Junta that he would be good at baseball. Tsukasa laughs because Anzu has no idea she helped create the talented athlete. To ensure Anzu's safety, Junta, Tsukasa, and Arisa always accompany her wherever she goes. Kagane offers assistance, which makes Anzu happy. Yukana appears as soon as she exits the store's back door. Anzu is terrified, but she still thinks about Tsukasa. He should never see Yukana in that place. She collects her courage and asks Yukana what she desired, but Yukana pulls out a knife and attacks Anzu. Riri arrives at the convenience store to pick up Anzu, but she has already left and the manager is unaware of her whereabouts. Riri, Kagane, Tsuchiya, Arisa, and Tsukasa set out to track down Anzu. Tsukasa comes across Anzu in the back of the convenience store. Yukana recognizes him and approaches him. When he sees injured Anzu with Yukana holding a knife, he froze. Tsukasa clutches his chest, recalling the traumatic scenes with Yukana, but the memory of Anzu hugging him and telling him that she believes in him, that it's not his fault, and that they'll get through it together gives him strength. He bravely stands up and confronts Yukana. He slaps the knife from Yukana's hand, causing her to fall to the ground. He tells Yukana to stop harming him and Anzu. He refuses to see Yukana or hear her voice, but Yukana insists that there is no need for him to lie, because everyone will understand sooner. She believes that he is simply influenced by others to be violent, and that he needs her to be better. Anzu steps in front of Tsukasa to protect him. Anzu promises Yukana that she will never lose to her. Even if Yukana hurts her, she will never leave Tsukasa's side. When the cops and others arrive, Anzu loses consciousness. Junta and Saki, as well as Arisa and Tsukasa, are waiting for her at the police station. They are all concerned about her. Tsukasa's parents arrive unexpectedly and apologize to Anzu for being dragged into a mess with Tsukasa. Tsukasa's father makes him bow down and apologize to Anzu. He drags Tsukasa by the wrist and bids Anzu farewell. Anzu, on the other hand, grabs Tsukasa's wrist and drags him away, telling him they're going home. Tsukasa's father is taken aback and angrily intervenes. Anzu tells him that instead of blaming Tsukasa, he should have protected him as a father. He should have been there during Tsukasa's difficult times. Tsukasa's father becomes even more enraged. Arisa laughs as Anzu chastises their father. Anzu calls her mother at home and assures her that she is fine. She then informs Tsukasa that her mother is returning home out of concern. Tsukasa apologizes and takes Anzu's head in his hands. He claims that Anzu has always been there for him since the beginning. Anzu is perplexed because she cannot recall anything. Tsukasa recalls the time Anzu broke his phone because he was having a panic attack due to a text message. Tsukasa notices Yukana and Anzu as she stumbles down the stairs, but Anzu refuses help, preventing Tsukasa from having a panic attack. Anzu avoids him in the cafeteria when they order the same food. Tsukasa thinks he can be around Anzu because she tries to get away from him in the park, that he can be at ease around her. He also recalls a day at school when Kashiwagi was catching up to him and Anzu got in the way, preventing Kashiwagi from touching Tsukasa. He recalls Anzu telling Kashiwagi that she will not force Tsukasa to do something he does not want to do. He also recalls the happy Anzu while selecting cat merchandise, and the grateful Anzu for Tsukasa's assistance. Finally, there was the time Anzu consoled him and told him what he needed to hear. Anzu's phone beeps with a message from her mother, interrupting his thoughts. Anzu is overjoyed when she sees the photos of Momohiki. Tsukasa hugs her and tells her to tell him if she doesn't like it. Tsukasa never imagined he'd love someone so much in his life. Anzu returns his hug and taps him on the shoulder. Junta catches them in that situation, causing him to cry, and he runs back to his room. The next day, Anzu's mother arrives and repeatedly pinches her cheeks, telling her that the scar on her face will make it difficult for her to find a husband. Tsukasa will take care of Anzu, according to Arisa, because Anzu has already promised not to leave Tsukasa's side. Anzu's mother is overjoyed, but Anzu tries to deny it. Anzu's mother searches for Junta and discovers he is at practice. Anzu searches for her father, who has been left alone in the United States to care for Momohiki. Tsukasa's mother, Arisa, Tsukasa, and Anzu sit in the living room and discuss Yukana and her punishment. They are concerned about Yukana's feelings for Tsukasa. Outside, Riri hears the conversation. Yukana's mother is speaking with her brother, who informs her that he will no longer vouch for Yukana. Yukana's uncle is apologizing to Kagane for what Yukana did. Kagane warns him that if Yukana hurts any of his friends again, he will do whatever it takes. Riri is listening outside the window in her girl form. She's relieved that Kagane's family connections didn't let her down, but she needs to take some precautions to ensure their safety. Yukana is sitting in the jail, leaning her head on her knees, telling herself that she and Tsukasa are destined for each other and that she is the only one who can save Tsukasa from the people around him. Riri unexpectedly appears beside her and introduces herself. Riri performs some magic on Yukana in order to care for Anzu and the others. Anzu is in her bedroom, thinking about Riri because she hasn't seen her in a long time. When Riri appears, Riri suspects Anzu misses her, and Anzu is calling for her. Anzu denies it and bullies her once more. Riri, in her male form, tells Anzu that she has already taken care of her concerns, and that she should remain true to herself. Riri kisses Anzu on the cheek while telling her how much she adores her. Anzu is taken aback by this gesture for a moment before attacking Riri for what she did. Riri bids Anzu farewell, which perplexes Anzu. Anzu, Tsukasa, Arisa, and Anzu's mother are discussing how Yukana's memories of the last few years have faded. She has no memory of Tsukasa. They can't believe it, and even doubt it, but they're relieved that everything has returned to normal. Tsukasa can't believe it because it happened so quickly. Anzu assures him that he can go at his own pace. Anzu's father barges in the door, shouting for Anzu, which surprises them. He rushes over to Anzu. He gives Anzu her 3 favorite things: chocolate, video games, and, finally, Momohiki. He also brought Arisa and Tsukasa special pork buns. Anzu hugs Momohiki because she misses him terribly. Anzu, on the other hand, suddenly realizes that it is her 3 deepest desires and wonders what happened to Riri. When night falls, Anzu's mother sleeps in her room because she can't stand her father's snores when he's tired. Junta wishes he could have gone home because he doesn't want to share a room with Tsukasa, but Anzu's mother asked them to stay the night. Tsukasa admits that he didn't think of Anzu as a love interest in the past, but that has all changed. Junta was expecting it because Anzu is so wonderful to him. Junta believes that he is no match for Tsukasa, and Ryua is still interested in Anzu. Tsukasa claims that Anzu only sees him as a friend, which is why they became closer. He is also certain that Junta is the same. He tells Junta that he wishes to remain on equal footing and never speak of it again. Junta and Tsukasa argue about who will go down to be with Anzu for a short time. Anzu is calling for Riri in the living room, but another wizard arrives with a different wand. The wizard introduces herself as Kate, and she is now assigned to Anzu's case, which perplexes Anzu. Kate informs Anzu that Riri is no longer permitted to visit the human world. Tsukasa and Junta arrive, interrupting their conversation. They can see Kate, which irritates Anzu because she forgot to cast a spell to keep the humans from seeing her. Tsukasa and Junta are still awestruck by it and can't believe it's talking. Kate has no choice but to tell Junta and Tsukasa everything. Tsukasa now realizes that some past events are implausible. Junta is disappointed when he realizes that they were not meant to meet sooner. Anzu regrets her actions and apologizes. She feels humiliated to be their test subject. Tsukasa tells Anzu that meeting her is the reason he overcame his trauma, and Junta expresses her joy at being reunited with her. Tsukasa and Junta are still upset about the wizards forcing Anzu into love and relationships. They do not want to be dumped. Kate informs them that they are merely employees who carry out orders. Anzu wonders why Riri isn't returning to the human world. Riri, according to Kate, established a taboo in their world. Riri used her magic to erase the majority of Yukana's memory for personal reasons. Kate believes Riri's feelings for Anzu have grown stronger. When Anzu was attacked in the alley, Riri began to use her magic for personal gain. They are not permitted to cast spells unless they are assisting their subjects in falling in love. Anzu wonders what will become of Riri. Kate informs them that Riri will face the harshest punishment possible, but the company has vouched for her, so Riri will be forced to work in the dungeon for the rest of her life. To protect its reputation, the company covered up Riri's actions. Riri bargained for the return of Anzu's 3 basic needs. Anzu seizes Kate's wand and threatens to make the wand dirty if Kate does not return Riri. Kate is so terrified that she requests that Riri be allowed to return to the human world. The management agrees to swap Kate's bonus for the 15 minutes Riri will be in the human world. Riri appears and bounces around the house. Anzu wishes to see Riri in human form to punish her for not explaining everything to her. Riri informs her that this is their final goodbye. Anzu has previously expressed a desire for her to vanish. Anzu expresses her gratitude to Riri. Tsukasa also expresses gratitude to Riri. Riri tells them that it is unnecessary because she broke the rules and that they should forget about her now that Anzu's 3 basic needs have returned. Anzu is irritated that Riri prioritizes her 3 basic needs over friendship. Anzu can't just forget about her. Anzu inquires as to what she intends to do from now on. Riri wants to stay with them, and Anzu wants the same thing. Riri is overcome with emotion and embraces Anzu. Kate interrupts them because the 15 minutes are up, which irritates Anzu. Anzu instructs her to use her magic to keep Riri with her. Kate declines because she can only use Anzu's romantic life magic. Anzu acknowledges that Riri has a 0.01% chance of being her love interest, and that Kate could use her magic legally. Kate reluctantly agrees because it will cost her another cut of her bonus. Anzu still refuses to participate in their mission, but Riri is overjoyed at what Anzu has done for her. Tsukasa and Junta are walking to school with Anzu. She is exhausted from playing video games until late at night. They are still living together. Junta informs her that she is both sleeping and walking. Kagane appears and demonstrates his narcissistic side. Anzu is delighted to see Kagane and expresses gratitude to him for foiling Yukana's uncle's plans. Junta expresses his gratitude for the opportunity to be with Anzu. Anzu tells herself that she won't have to bend over backward to avoid romance because her 3 basic needs have returned. Riri appears to inform Anzu of the new rule. Now that Anzu's 3 basic needs have been restored, she must prioritize her love interest, or else they will be confiscated once more. And if she does not have a happy ending with someone after graduation, her 3 basic needs will be lost for good. It makes Anzu angry and ready to fight for love and their mission once more. Kate visits Torii University Medical Center in search of her next assignment. It's Yukana, and Kate hopes that she's not too difficult to deal with. As they enter the school, Anzu, Tsukasa, Saki, Junta, and Makoto walk together. Anzu's romantic love life is now progressing slowly.